Since I'm getting rid of old stuff and throwing things away that I should have never kept or never got in the first place, or just should have been threw away, I'm going through my dream journal that I've had since, I don't know, 2012. And some things have stuck out to me, but I specifically want to talk about dreams I had that go along with the point of this channel, which is mostly exposing the systems or society, I guess. Well, not really exposing, because nothing's actually ever hidden, but talking about things that happen, I guess. I'm gonna start with this page that I just stumbled across about a dream that I had 8/9/22. And I guess I woke up at 6 a.m. because that's what this says. Right here. And a lot of things in here, even things that have nothing to do with like the system, stuck out to me because a lot of the things that I was dreaming about have happened. Some of them were just things that were going to happen in my life, like leaving the lower level cash for kids system and things like that, but even other things. So, SRA sex trafficking in plain sight. Using the universal witchcraft law, the elites had commercials where, they basically showed how they SRA sex traffic kids underground and even through sewer systems. I'm just going to say they claimed because I cannot read this. They claimed it was something else, though, and said the sewer passageways could be used to transport kids to safety in dangerous times. And so, this pretty much basically came to pass pretty recently. Like I said, I had this dream 8/9/22, but very recently, there was a whole thing in New York where the Euro you know who's, were crawling out of the sewers and stuff, and they said they were trying to illegally expand a church. But that's not even really the big thing. I mean, that's part of it, but what fits with this even more so is the whole scenario where Elon Musk was talking about how they have underground cities, or pretty much how they're basically now admitting that they have cities underground. Although people don't even know how deep the whole underground city thing goes. Like, even ancient civilizations have writings about how there's underground cities. So the whole trafficking side is a separate side of a very old concept. So yeah, there's that. Elon Musk talking about the underground cities and how they can get to each other's houses through underground freeways, different things like that. And then also people coming out talking about how their schools have like underground tunnels under them, and they claim it's for safety reasons. And there's something that I noticed that people used to talk about a lot in 2018, but everybody shut up about it. But I feel like I'm the only one that remembers back when there was this whole tech story craze where tech stories would like go viral and people would claim that they were like just made up for entertainment. But there are people who had tech stories about fake school buses and fake late buses that would come by, and the bus driver would be like, I'm the late bus. And honestly, when do schools ever have late buses? But supposedly people would think that there was a late bus, quote unquote, that would come get them and take them to the school after they missed the first bus or after they missed the bus home. And then they would go to some underground tunnel. And I would honestly love to know who was really actually making these quote unquote entertainment tech stories. And I forgot to go over the whole universal law thing, but pretty much the universal law is that people have to tell you something before they do it. So everything that goes on in the world only happens because people let it happen. And it kind of goes along with what people call quote unquote predictive programming, which is that the movies and the media will tell you things are going to happen before it happens. And if you don't stop them and if you don't do anything or say anything, you let it happen. So for all the people that are saying that people like me are making everybody depressed by talking about these different things that go on, just know that we own this planet too, and that's how the laws of the spirit realm that reflect into the physical realm work. Everything that happens because we let it happen, because this is our planet. And I know the existence of the government and the police has made people think otherwise, but that's actually not true. They don't really run anything unless we let them, but that's a whole nother video. But yeah, so I had this dream 8/9/22, and it was about a commercial where I guess you could say the higher ups or just people in general were pretty much exposing the fact that they traffic people underground, but they were making it seem like it was just a commercial where they were showing how they just so happen to have underground tunnels for just in case anything happens where they need to put people's kids in underground tunnels. As if the bunkers that they build for safety would even be for everybody and not just for them. So that was their excuse, and apparently I had this dream in 2022 and it recently came to pass. So here's another dream I had about human trafficking. This was 3/18/24. So this was a ghost, pretty much. This was a dead kid who was talking to me in a dream, and he told me that, I don't know, I guess the government, but of course the word is just going to be they, which I mean, I'm sure the government will be a part of this they. But he told me that they have technology, like I guess some type of, I don't know, I guess you could call it a robot that can find bodies of trafficked kids in like the ocean and lakes. And he said that the technology can detect chemicals that are let off from the body during like fear or torture. So what comes to my mind for as far as these chemicals would be like bilirubin, and of course people talk about adrenochrome. So pretty much this technology can like find human blood and different chemicals from a human body in bodies of water. So there's that. And I don't really know who he was. Well, not I don't really know. I don't know. But that's what he said. 11/13/2020 was when I had a dream about how Walmart sex traffics people. And actually, a lot of people have had dreams about this, even around the time that I did. And I didn't even find out till like, I don't know, probably a year plus later. But pretty much in this dream, my dad was there too. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but he's also a trafficking victim. Not even of lower level cash for kids system. Well, no, of both. So he went through the cash for kids system branches that I talk about all the time, that I also was pushed through, but he went through higher level SRA sex trafficking too. Not to the point where he really got kidnapped and thrown around, but where he was like taken by the Choma Freemason lawyers and judges and had to even watch other kids be abused. And they even had, like, the lawyers and judges had mansions where they would have pictures of different boys on their walls, and they even turned their own kids out and different things like that. So anyway, me and my dad were there, and there was this secret room like on an elevator. No, in fact, the elevator was a secret in and of itself. So they had a secret elevator that led to some rooms upstairs and downstairs. Well, pretty much like in the basement, so underground, but also upstairs where they will like traffic people. And me and my dad had found out about the elevator, so they shot him. and I was able to get away. Dream that I feel is related enough, I guess. In 1922. That's the funny thing about these dreams, though, is that they were a long time ago, but they really don't feel like they were as long ago as they were. It's like even though I had some of them in like 2012 and 2016, it still feels like it was yesterday, but it wasn't. But anywho, 10/19/22. Private Lodge and a Guard Witch on a Broom. Or at least that's the title I have right now. So pretty much there was this like Freemason lodge. It looked abandoned and closed. And it wasn't, I don't know, it's like with the way the dream realm works, it's hard for me to really tell if this like is really a place that actually exists in the physical realm or if it's just there in the spiritual realm. I mean, I know there would obviously be places like this in the real world, but it just seemed like, I don't know, a portal type thing. Unlike the other couple of dreams I mentioned, where obviously that's like something that's going on in the physical world. But I was in this lodge place with a couple of Freemason lodge type places, and it definitely did seem like a different dimension type thing, not like an actual place. And it was kind of like out in the middle of nowhere, I guess. And pretty much they had like these, I don't know, it was like a boiler type room, I guess, where they were like I don't know, sacrificing kids. It didn't really seem like much of a sex trafficking thing. I didn't really see that. It just seemed like it was mostly sacrificial stuff going on. And like I said, with how the place was set up, actually, yeah, because it was like a boiler room, and I swear it was like lava or something. So I don't really think it's something that is like a physical thing. I mean, maybe there's a way to get lava in a building. I don't know, but yeah. So anywho, they were like, yeah, just killing kids pretty much. And the weird thing was though, is that I could like smell the burning flesh, and I could like smell the kids. I guess smell them cooking the kids because that sounded kind of left. Smelling the kids. And then I was outside of the building because I was walking around the building. I was like reading stuff. In fact, I think there was like one of those tombstone things, like how the Masons, they have the tombstones when they die, and then it has, well, I mean, all tombstones have a name on it, but they have like the compass and G square symbol on their tombstones. And I was reading that stuff, and then this witch popped up. And so she was like on a broom, and she started chasing me, and it's like she was trying to figure out how I was able to get there. So, due to different things about this place, I feel like it's definitely probably something that only exists in like the spiritual realm or like some other dimension. And it's more so like a, I don't know, I guess maybe a place people would go to during a ritual or something. That's like, how do I say it? Most people, wait a minute. Most people probably wouldn't really know about this, but like there's different realms people can go to during rituals, just like if somebody was to astral project or do lucid dreaming, there would be different places that they can go to. So that's what this seemed like. It didn't really seem like it was an actual place anywhere. 24. 16-year-old boy who's taking care of his 8-year-old sibling. So this was a boy who lived in Atlanta, and his dad was wherever in the world, and his mom, hold up, his mom left. She left him, I can't even find the page, but she left him to go do whatever. And so he was taking care of his 8 siblings. I also think this dream was like really just about generational trauma and generational curses and like issues in the Hebrew community in general. But pretty much, he was in the usual situation of an abused kid who was made to feel like his situation was normal. He just needed to be respectful. And like he was really supposed to be taking care of his 8 siblings by himself. And he was homeless too, if I'm remembering right. Actually, wait a minute. Okay, it took me 30 minutes to find the page. So he just turned 16. He was in denial and bragging about how he had, oh yeah, he was bragging about how he had been having to make money to take care of his 8 siblings. His mom was messed up and neglectful, and his dad was nowhere to be found. And he lived in Atlanta. This isn't even, no, wait a minute. I was about to say this isn't my first dream about somebody in Atlanta, but actually this was my first one, and then I had another one, but it was about something else and someone else's situation in Atlanta. But yeah, so he was in that cognitive dissonance state where he bragged about his trauma and he was being made to feel like nothing was wrong with the situation and like he was doing what he should be doing, but really he shouldn't have had to do all that.